Coinbase CEO says regulation is one of the biggest threats to crypto. This is a CNBC interview he did. Once again, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong said, regulation is one of the biggest risks when it comes down to cryptocurrency business. We're very excited and happy to play by the rules. Basically, we just ask that, hey, we want to be treated on those level playing field with traditional financial services at the very least, and not have any kind of punishment for being in the crypto space. His company is the first major crypto business to trade publicly in the U.S. Coinbase is profitable, taking in $322 million last year, and estimated $800 million in first quarter revenue alone. So even the guy asked a question saying, are you worried about regulation? He says regulation is one of the biggest risks when it comes down to cryptocurrency business. Thoughts?
Well, he said the two biggest risks were cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity was, yep, that's right. He did say that.
And shout out to everyone who's been eager to invest in the IPO for Coinbase. And something tells me there might be a
case study coming up, which is good.
But, you know, when I kind of first got into the insurance industry, well, I've been in it for a few years. Everyone was like, the DOL, and the regulation. And for my industry, regulation turned out to be a good thing for the life settlement industry, because when I entered it in 2006, it was the freaking Wild West. So I guess my question back to you, because you have very strong opinions on this, is regulation a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it somewhere in the middle? Where do you think the regulation will lead? You know, who's going to be running the show when it comes to regulation? I'm sort of just I want to get your response on this.
Who gives the regulation?
Yeah, like just give the rundown, the pros and cons.
Powell.
Exactly. Well, obviously the chairman of the Fed and
Powell,
the Secretary of Treasury.
SEC, anybody that wants to get their hands in there.
What about tax implications, the IRS?
They could do that as well. Remember, internet, we used to have no taxes on the internet. Internet tax is a new thing. When you used to sell stuff on the internet, you did not pay taxes. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that.
Years ago, if you sold stuff on the internet, you didn't pay taxes until they came out with taxes on the internet.
In what year? Did they come out with taxes?
It's probably a decade ago when they came out with taxes on the internet.
So what are the pros and cons of regulation?
Tom, can you pay attention, please? Go ahead, keep going.
What are the pros and cons of regulation?
Tom, what are the pros and cons of regulation?
The pros and cons of regulation on Coinbase? Well, it's the underlying
crypto.
Okay, well, Coinbase is a market. It's a marketplace.
Yes.
But if that which it is marketing, the individual cryptocurrencies, there's an issue with them, then it has no business. And so the regulation of those things is what he's worried about. He's not worried about himself being regulated as much as, hey, I'm a marketplace, I'm a buyer and a seller, and there's rules for that. And you know, people have to, you know, to have accounts and everything, protection of privacy.
Regulation for that is independent of what cryptocurrency.
Correct. He's basically running like a Robin Hood for...
That's what I called it last year. Yeah, exactly.
For
but
cryptocurrency. The pros of regulation on cryptocurrency is that it is a new medium, and I believe that there's a lot we don't understand and need to do, number one. And number two, we're actually trusting the technology sector that the privacy and any of the things that can happen underneath it are working. And so I think there needs to be, you know, regulation underneath on all of the people say, oh, don't worry about it. It's on the blockchain. It's well, we don't know how. Do we know? Do we have does the FBI have a division that completely understands all the ways that maybe you can manipulate the blockchain and cheat honest people? Probably not. Probably not yet. Yeah. So do we need regulation and laws to make sure there's guardrails and everything on there to protect people that are investing in it? Absolutely. That's the pros of regulation. The cons of regulation is this is politicized and the fiat currencies are threatened. And so inside, we need to regulate it for the safety and the the integrity of the system and to protect the individual investor. There's also political things out there. There's a lot of people that don't particularly, want this to be competing with currency bases. So
you know what's got to be frustrating is to the billionaires who became billionaires through business and the stock market who don't believe in crypto. They got to be very upset right now because a lot of those guys are getting threats from guys who are skaters who are about to be billionaires, and they're like, dude, you're not a qualified billionaire. And they're about to become billionaires. Many of these guys are about to become billionaires.
Yeah.
And the billionaires who went to the right schools, they have the right last names, they did it all the right way, and they got picked up and they made all them. Nothing wrong with them, more power to them. I salute a lot of these entrepreneurs. But it's got to be tough for some of these guys to say they were so anti-crypto. I've never been anti-crypto. It's regulation is eventually going to get you because I know how politicians work when you become too powerful.
You know, it's really interesting you say that. but I see history repeating itself here. And I know crypto's got a lot of regulation. There's a lot more to it, and it's competing with currency systems. Yes. But there were media barons that were saying the same thing about Jerry Yang at Yahoo and about Steve Case at AOL.
Yep.
Oh, these guys have just gone from 0 to 60.
That's true.
And now they're media guys
That
and
is
everything.
so true.
Oh, gosh, they didn't do it the way we did
Yep.
it. We built this thing up
Yep.
channel by channel, Walter Cronkite and all this stuff. And these guys come out of nowhere and they're billionaires.
Absolutely.
And
Same thing is happening today.
Yep.
It's tough. It's tough when you get a newer wave that's coming in that's like right now. How many people are right now saying Steph Curry's the most exciting player in the league?
A lot.
A lot. They're saying he's the modern day Michael Jordan ahead of LeBron James. That's what's trending today. He's the most exciting player. They're not saying he's the greatest. They're saying he is the most exciting player in the league right now, like Michael Jordan. How come they're not saying LeBron? Because LeBron's not as exciting Steph Curry. Why? LeBron's big, 6'8", jumps 41 inches. He can dunk. He's like a linebacker, 285 pounds. Steph Curry is Bitcoin. Because Steph Curry's the way of winning is shooting 11 threes yesterday in 29 minutes, scoring 43 points, and the night before scores 50 points, makes 10 threes, passes Will Chamberlain, but he doesn't dunk the ball.
No.
It's a very different game, and attention's going in a different direction with crypto. And some of these guys that have forever been the main guys going on CNBC, MSNBC, all these plays, they're like a little bit less being called upon than the other guys are.
So make a prediction, because you've been talking about regulation for Bitcoin and crypto for a while now. Where do you see this going?
I think if you study history, politicians eventually figured out a way to create laws to impose themselves on those who are entrepreneurs and different thinkers.
That's correct.
They eventually figure out ways to create laws against them. And guess what entrepreneurs typically find a way to do? Entrepreneurs and innovators typically find a way to go around them.
Yeah, of course.
And this happens, this is a battle that's going to happen over and over and over and over and over again. And guess what majority of people hate in the world? Do majority of people love billionaires and millionaires, or do majority of people hate them?
More on the latter.
More on the latter. So what do they vote for? Do they vote for leave them alone and let them keep creating, or do they vote for, hey, do whatever you can to create more restrictions for them?
And that is sort of the fickleness of the average.
Yeah.
The fickleness of the mob goes like this: they cheer for you as the underdog, but if you win the game and host the trophy, now they don't like you.
The guy says, give KD some love. It's tough to give Nets some love, man. It's an all-star team going into
what I was looking at, Pat, I'm sorry.
Your case study. I know you got a Coinbase case study coming up.
But we have a Coinbase case study that we did 2 years ago, so go back and check on that. And we're going to do a follow-up on Valuetainment.
Awesome. By the way, Kai told me yesterday, I showed the text to you. Kai told me yesterday your Disney case study is the best one he's ever seen. And I came out yesterday. We watched your Ducati case study last week on the drive to Miami.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Where do you see, if regulation does come in, how does that affect the price of Bitcoin specifically?
That's a great question. It depends what kind of regulation they impose. But to be honest with you, I don't think by a lot. I don't think by a lot.
You don't think regulation will affect
I
the
think
price
crypto
of
is going. I think crypto is going. I think crypto is going to go and do what it's going to do, but regulation is going to come. Some parts of the sector of crypto is going to take a hit. I don't know which one it is.
Right.
Because you have to think about, how will they regulate? How? From what angle will they take it to be a pain in the butt for the crypto community? What angle will they take? What angle will it be? No one knows.
Well, and it all comes back around again. I mean, the banking is here to make money, loaning money, right? The core of banking makes money doing that.
Nicola just commented right now, gave $5 saying regulations are coming. Ripple is on a lawsuit right now with SEC. Right now, this will be a good for the entire space. Keep an eye on it. There you go.
Yep. Go back to 2008, right? What was the problem in real estate? Qualification standards were too low, right? Nina, no income, no problem, right?
Yep.
And now you have real estate prices are even higher than what they were, and the interest rate is a problem. But no one's talking about there's also the adjustable interest rate sitting at 2.25% to start. What does it take to double that? 5%. That's not a big jump for interest rates, but that would basically double those mortgage payments. And yet they were saying, oh, we've cleaned the whole thing up. The qualifications are different and everything. No, people are being qualified still on the front end. The argument on adjustables is they're qualifying people on the front end, the payment on the front end, not the payment for the potential. And so you follow that? You let the back end ratios be way too heavy.
On the adjustable mortgage.
On the starting point, and you don't say, listen, I'm going to qualify for this based on the starting point plus 1.5 points. That's what I'm going to qualify you. Remember, they were talking about, we're going to do all these things, make it safer so people can't accidentally get into bad mortgages. Wrong. The banks want to give out mortgages. They want to loan them out. And we may not be doing Nina, but we've had other ways that we are out there loaning money. And as your point is, capitalism finds a way. The market finds a way.
Did you see what Peter Thiel said about crypto and what he said about China?
Yeah, he said that it's an enemy. And he says, and they're in bed with Russia and China kind of thing.
Yeah.
Who's in bed? Say it again.
Yeah. I'm paraphrasing, but Peter Thiel said, continue on that because I scanned it. I did not dive in.
Yeah, he was saying China is going to use crypto in a way to bring the fiat currency down in the U.S., to manipulate the fiat currency to bring it down in the U.S. They're going to use crypto to do that. Go ahead, Kai.
And remove the dollar as the reserve currency. So actually trying to attack that.
Yeah.
1,000,000,000% believe China would want to do something like that.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.